This is extreme nearsighted flamingo hunting. How do you play? Pretty simple. You want to get to the flamingo tile. Very simple, right? So on this page you have bad squares. You have to spin the bad wheel. You have the shadow realm. You don't want to go there. You have combat squares where you get locked until you complete a successful combat with someone else, or in some cases the game itself. Versus squares where you have to fight another, where you get to choose, or sometimes not, who you're going to fight next. And good squares where you get to spin things like the good wheel. And sometimes you then have to spin the bad wheel. But I mean, there's other good stuff like, gaining compasses, which those will be those are items that will get explained to you later. But very, very simple, right? There's a problem. You can't see the board. You have no idea where everything is. It's up to you to keep track of where you're moving from one space to the next space, right? I mean, you're like, well, that's not too hard, right? It really is, because then you have things such as the bad wheel, which, there we go, rearrange the board. I won't do anything too crazy. I'll probably just swap one tile for another, but it can really throw you off if you're trying to map everything correctly. And that's where hilarity ensues, because you don't know where the board is. However, the game is not concluded until all players reach the flamingo space. That means that people who do win and people who do get to the flamingo space, they quit. They can come over and look at my screen, and the failure that the other people have when they mapped out their own maps. Obviously, we're not using this map, and that obviously this is why it's in some sort of creator. So that I can, consistently see. I don't know if you can see this, but that's that right there. You go left on this shop, you end up in the shadow realm. There's teleportation in this game. There's also just loops. So I could also just add. Let's see here. Purple arrows, and they loop you back up to just this space. That's all. You go down and you go back up. So when you go down, just be wary. You might have just gone back up, and you may not have even gone back up there. You may have gone back up over here. Now I'll try and keep it consistent. You're not going to go down and somehow end up left, and that's why everything is kind of in a grid pattern, so that if I tell you go up and to the right, it's not just up and to the right a little bit and then right is directly into combat, which doesn't really make sense. That's why everything is somewhat gridlocked. Well, that's the basics of the game. You as the player don't understand what's happening. So much fun. Anyway, that's the game. That's all there is to it. You won't see this map, but we may start you off on this map, just even though you could totally memorize it, just so you kind of have an idea of what in the world you're doing, and I'll give you pointers, all that stuff. These are one way. You can go one way, but not the other. There are items in a shop, blah, blah, blah. I'll explain what these are when you get to the shop. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. So have lots of fun. Hopefully. You may not be able to have fun in this game. You never know. Oh, it bothers me that it's not centered, even though I totally did this in like a really wonky way. Like, center yourself. There we go. All right, that's it.